What's up? Today I'm going to run you through 10 things to check for when buying a used Sur-Ron. As you can see here, I've went and bought myself a Light B Youth. It came up on Marketplace, it was pretty cheap. I'm going to eventually build this out for my son. It's got a good wheel set combo, it comes with a 17s. I will put a 14 on the rear though, and do a seat lowering kit. Now these 10 things to look for are in no particular order, just 10 things to keep note when you're looking at buying a second-hand Surron or any electric dirt bike. First thing, you want to check your brakes and your levers and your rotors. So with the bike on, just give it a run. Make sure that your rotors are kind of straight, your brakes are working, your levers are straight. Check both front and rear. These ones, the pads seem quite worn out. Generally when I buy a second-hand bike, I will give it a service anyway. So I will replace these pads, and I'll also bleed the brakes. The second thing to check for, your wheels. Whether they're 17, 19s, aftermarket, it doesn't matter. Start the bike up, run it, hold it in the air and just rotate that rear wheel. You want to make sure there's no buckles in it. You want to check the tread, make sure there's not a lot of burnouts. You know, that's going to tell you the life of the bike, have they been thrashing it around. Just rotate the front one by hand, eyeballing it, see if it looks reasonably straight. Even if it has a little buckle, you only need to true the wheel. It's not a big deal, it's pretty easy to do. Most shops will take care of it if you can't do that. The third thing you want to do is just walk around the whole bike and check the frame. Check if it's been dropped, if it's scratched, any damage on the swing arm, any cracks, is the subframe bent. So make sure that that is straight with the rear wheel. Also just check around your head frame here. Just go around, inspect it closely, see if there's any cracks, see if maybe they've patched it up or they've put a decal over it, try and hide some cracks as well. Some guys when selling their bikes will tell you that it's a last year's model or it's a 2023 or it's this year. One way you can find out is by looking on the motor. The first 4 numbers on the motor tell you what year it is. This one happens to be a 2020 on that motor, but that's also assuming that you've still got your stock motor in there, or it's a or they've replaced it with a different motor. Fifth thing to look for is how many Ks it's done. If it's really low Ks on the bike, they've probably replaced the screen, and it'll just tell you something about the seller that they're probably not being honest with you. If it is high Ks, then at least they're telling the truth. It's still the original LCD screen, and you know what kind of seller they are. The sixth thing you want to check for, aftermarket parts. You can see with this one, it's still got the stock fork clamps, stock bars, stock grips, stock tires. So there's nothing being changed on it. If there are aftermarket parts, they will generally ask for a little bit more money. See if they've got those stock parts still available. You never make back your money on aftermarket parts. Normally when I sell a bike, I will remove all the upgrades I've done, put it back to stock, and it's a lot easier to sell. All these bikes should come with a VIN. It's located up here on the head frame. Make sure you check that that VIN is still there. If they've ground that VIN off, that's sus. The bike's probably been stolen. So yeah, just make sure you still got the VIN there. The 8th thing to look for is a Light B S like this one, or a Light B X. The S comes with a 48 volt battery, 48 volt controller, and a 3 kilowatt peak power motor. So it is a little bit smaller. The X comes with a 6 kilowatt 60 volt system. You can, and I will, upgrade these S's to a 60 volt system, but you've just got to be aware of what you're buying out there. If you're buying the Youth, it'll come with these forks, or they could have changed the forks as well. It will affect the resale value, so just be aware of what you are buying. The 9th thing, probably what you should do first when you go to look at a bike, is just turn it on, hold the rear wheel up, give it a throttle and have a listen. If you can hear something that's not quite right, it could be the motor, it could be the jack shaft, it could just be a dirty chain. Generally, most parts are readily available. Also, take it for a little ride and see if it feels right too. If someone is trying to sell you a bike without a charger, good chance that that bike is stolen. Even if the charger was broken, I would still ask for them to bring me the a broken charger, just as a kind of reassurance that this bike has not been stolen. And the 10th and final thing is just compare the market. A lot of areas might have a lot of Sur-Rons, and then as you go further out of town, out of the cities, it might be harder to get, so the value, they're going to be asking more for their bike. Also what aftermarket parts they have, they might be asking a little too much for those aftermarket parts. So just know the price range that you should be aiming for. Alright, I hope this has helped you out. If it has, give us a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.